Hi, it's Paul from howtoplaybassdotcom here. Got a quick lesson for you on how to play Donald Duck Dunn's great bass line to I Can't Turn You Loose by Otis Redding. It's a good tune for beginners, it's not too complex. There's essentially a pattern that repeats throughout the tune. The chord progression is very simple. There's only 3 chords in the tune, and all you do is move the pattern or the shape of the pattern that you're playing to the different root notes that you're playing through the song. And then there's a couple of little cool offbeat syncopated stab sections. If you listen to the original, you hear those that you match what the horns are playing, which are also quite cool. Fun song to play live. And before we head into the lesson, don't forget to click on the link underneath this video, head over to my website, subscribe to my free monthly e-zine. There's a free exclusive video and PDF lesson every month, plus there's a number of goodies that you get for signing up. If you go over to the website and have a look, you'll see the list of what's there. It's definitely worth doing and subscribing. There's some good stuff there. So let's head over to the lesson and let's go and look at the introduction. First section of the tune we're going to look at is the intro. So it's a little 2-bar pattern that brings in the main riff. Play it through metronome, then we'll talk through the notes. 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then you go into the horn riff. First bar is the basic riff that we'll be looking at throughout the tune, which is C, A, G, C, A, G, A. Those note locations. C is the 3rd fret of the A string, A is the 5th fret of the E string, G is the 3rd fret of the E string. And the second bar of that intro phrase is C, E, G, B flat, A, G, D. And the note locations: C, 3rd fret of the A string again, E, 2nd fret of the D string, G, 5th fret of the D string, B flat, 3rd fret of the G string, A, 2nd fret of the G string, G, 5th fret of the D string, open D string, and then that takes us through to the first horn riff. The first horn riff serves as like the introduction of the tune. It also serves as the tag after the end of each verse that delineates verse 1 moving to verse 2 moving to verse 3, etc. We'll look at the variation when verse 2 moves to verse 3 because there's something slightly extra. It's an 8-bar pattern. I'll play it through the metronome, we'll talk through the notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then you've got that, right at the end, you've got that syncopated horn riff. Basic pattern, we looked in the first section. C, A, G, C, A, G, A. Repeats that basic pattern for 6 bars. On the 7th bar, same pattern, except the very last note is the first note of that syncopated horn riff, where everything stabs together. And that note is D, 5th fret of the A string. Then the next note in the pattern is E, 2nd fret of the D string. Then F, natural, 3rd fret of the D string. F sharp, 4th fret of the D string. And the pattern finishes on G, 5th fret of the G string. Then you're into, 5th fret of the D string, and then you're into the verse. Now, if you have a listen to the Otis Redding original, you'll clearly hear how that horn riff should sound, and you won't have to worry too much about the counting because you'll be able to hum kind of the riff of the horns in your head and match along when the horns do the stabs. So that leads us on to the basic verse figure. The basic verse is a 20-bar pattern, but it isn't as complex as that might sound because essentially it's based on the pattern we've already looked at being transposed into the different chords of the song. It's a 3-chord wonders. The root notes are C, F and G. So when you go up to F, the pattern goes exactly the same fingering go up to G, again you've got exactly the same kind of shape of your hand to make that pattern. Now I'll play through the 20 bars just so you can see that the slight variations are where you move from C to F, or where you move from F back to C, or then where you move from C to G. So just play through it and then we'll just talk through it. 3, 4. Okay, we'll stop there because then it goes into the horn riff section that we've already looked at. So, starts off with the basic pattern we've looked at, C, A, G, C, A, G, C. Plays that through 7 times. On the 8th time, as you're approaching the F, again, very similar to when we came into doing the horn riff, the last note of the pattern is D. And then you're into F. Okay, now on F, same pattern. I'll just talk through the notes. So it's F, 3rd fret, same pattern but a string higher up. So starts off F, the 3rd fret of the D string, then it's D, 5th fret of the A string, C, 3rd fret of the A string, back to F, 3rd fret of the D string, and then D, C, D. It plays the F pattern 4 times. But the last time, instead of going back to the D, instead of doing that, you drop down to the open A string. Then you're back to C and play the C pattern 4 times. And then the last time, or the 4th time you play the C, again finish up with the D rather than the A, and then the pattern transitions to G, which he plays for 2 bars. So it's G, E, D, G, E, D, G. And the frets are G, 5th fret of the D string, E, 7th fret of the A string, D, 5th fret of the A string, back to G, the 5th fret of the D string, then E, D, E. Second time you play through G, pattern's identical except for the last note. Go back to G and then slide down. You've got 2 bars in F, and notice you've got, because there's only 2 bars, you've got both endings as it were of each bar. You've got the one on the D first bar, and then the second bar it ends on the A, and then we're back into C, and you're back into the 8-bar pattern on C, which then ends with that syncopated riff. So you can go back to that first section, add that, and what we need to do now is go and look at what happens after verse 2, because there's a little tag on the end of that horn riff. So let's go and look at that. After verse 2, there's a slightly different feel to the section that ends with the horn tag. So just play a couple of bars and then go into the horn tags. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back into the main riff. So what that does, sorry, let me turn the metronome off. What you do is you got D, repeats that tag, and then it adds a new one on. So the notes starts off with D, E, F, F sharp, G is the first one, and that's identical to the first section. Then the next bar of tags, it goes back to E, F, F sharp, G, and then the last bar of the kind of those horn tags, it's G, A sharp, B. So note-wise, you've got D. For the first one is the 5th fret of the A string, then you've got E at the 2nd fret of the D string, F natural 3rd fret of the D string, F sharp 4th fret of the D string, and G, which is the 5th fret of the D string. Then it goes back to E, 2nd fret, F 3rd fret, F sharp 4th fret, G 5th fret, and then it goes G 5th fret, A 2nd fret of the G string, A sharp 3rd fret of the G string, B 4th fret of the G string, and then you go back into the main riff pattern. Again, it's another section where if you have a close listen to the Otis Redding original, you'll understand how that actually sounds in context with the rest of the music. And again, it kind of follows the horn line, so you don't have to worry too much about counting it, because you can actually follow the melody of what the horns are playing. So if you correlate the different parts of the lesson with the original recording, you should be able to get through I Can't Turn You Loose and play through. It's a fun tune to play, it's not that difficult for beginners, and it's good for your stamina of your right hand particularly, because you've got all these constant eighth notes going through. But the tempo is relatively modest, so you should be able to get through it. Before we go, just want to remind you, don't forget to click on the link underneath and go over to the website and sign up for my easy. And if you're not already a member, you get a number of free video and PDF lessons as a thank you for signing up, plus there's a monthly lesson that's exclusive to the membership. The first of the freebies you get would be Sex on Fire by the Kings of Leon, but there's other stuff as well, some cool stuff, so it's definitely worth doing, and like I said, it's free, so go and do that, and I'll catch you in the next video.